this is that same mindset I'm bringing, where I'm kind of starting from that same work ethic.
Who's starting from that?
I.
I is a pronoun. Who's I in that sentence? And we'll walk you through it.
Yeah,
So I'm not saying, but that's exactly where we start. I'm like,
Right.
okay, champ, who's I in that sentence? And you'll get that. 99.99% will go, me. I'm like, me is another pronoun for I, and doesn't mean anything. So part of what you're looking at is a programming systemically at the humanistic level and the human layer of identity is a singular flat plane. I and me. That's all of you.
Right.
But you just told me you're a father, you're a champion fighter, you're a top 10 Indian fighter, you're a son, you're a friend, you're an asshole, you're a good guy. There's all these guys running around. Well, that can't be just me, because that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me. And so as we always say, you map it, and once you name it, you can map it. Once you map it, you can actually integrate it. Once you integrate it, now your performance under pressure, and you can do it on command. So it's the best way I describe it in macro. So just a John Q nobody, just like, what the hell is he talking about? It's like, you ever have those days where everything just goes?
Yeah.
Okay, so decisions are easy, conversations flow, people work together seamlessly, and just like, and even things that normally take effort just kind of jam. It's, what if that wasn't, something that was based on luck or based on timing? What if it was something you can consistently return to? Well, that passion, finding that gap, finding that 5%. 5% is all we're looking for. People go, oh, I have to make this big change, and it's overwhelming. It just throws your nervous system into an absolute catastrophe mode. It freaks out, and that's why people fail before they ever start, because they're like, this nervous system freaks. But finding that 5%, and most importantly, the identity behind it, that's been my passion for the last 35 years. And now we've finally been able to complete a full system that repeats itself. And we've been able to scale it, teach it, replicate it, which now that indicates a system.
Right.
So now we have the first time that we're aware of in the first 100 years that we have a full human identity architecture system. Yeah. Now we go, boom. So we take your child and go, hey, all you two youngest do this, and that's 12 and 16. We actually indoctrinated in the system about a year ago and started showing them who they are at that age. Because if you could find out and start to learn who you are and all the facets of you, what does that save 50 years down the road? Right? The trauma reduction, the bad relationship dramas, and they still have them because there's that part of that nervous system that will always default into safety. And when we really understand that the theme of life is a nervous system seeking to regulate itself in safety. That's it. Once we understand that, then we can map it. Then we can map, and as we go, now you get into conscious, competent, coherent architecting your life, and you know which parts you're using. And it's not fake it till you make it, it's you.
Right.
Because you know who you are, you've integrated it.
Right.
That's it. There's your sound clip. All right, good interview.
Now let's get started. I've never had this happen before. I'm like, oh my God, I want this all to be recording right now. Okay.
Well, I can't say that again, so you better get.
I hope you say it again.
My voice is on last minute, so you're
right.
get everything I got, bro.
Before I bring my guest out, I need you to understand who is about to walk through. This man has been standing on stages since 1991. 35 years, 14,000 hours in front of crowds, 7,000 presentations, over 1 million people in the room. He holds 2 doctoral degrees, a doctorate in psychology, a doctorate in clinical hypnotherapy. He is certified master NLP trainer. In film and television, he has won an Emmy Award, 30 plus Telly Awards. He produced Beyond the Secret, The Awakening, the sequel to one of the most watched documentaries in history. And that film won 5 international film awards, including Best Documentary. He has coached elite athletes on the PGA Tour, the LPGA, the NCAA programs, NFL players, and MMA athletes. Yahoo Finance named him top 20 entrepreneur. BuzzFeed put him at the top 10 Instagram influencers on the planet. He built a company with one mission: move entrepreneurs from founders to funding to fortune. Now here's what I need you to really hear. Every coach out there is selling you a system, a framework, a morning routine, 5 steps, 10 steps, 90-day programs. Most of them will take your money and leave you exactly where you started, because you never went deep enough to find the actual problem. This man went deep, 35 years deep. He does not coach the surface. He works at the level of identity, at the level of subconscious scripts running through your life before you even open your eyes in the morning. Scripts you did not write, scripts you did not choose. Scripts that are quietly deciding your ceiling right now. He does not call himself a coach, he calls himself a decoder. He is the identity architect, Las Vegas, Dr. Travis Fox.
Man, that was long. Are we filming now? I'm
We're
awake.
filming now, man.
I'm like, are you talking about me? That's very kind. Thanks.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm like, I hope the camera was rolling for the last 20 minutes of us talking. You are an absolute fascinating person.
Thanks.
And I kept seeing you all week, and I'm like, there's always crowds around you. And there was crowds around you.
It's because I wear the right cologne. It's my pheromone.
Is that what it is?
No, I'm just talking. Thank you. It's very kind.
But
thank you.
You come from a very interesting field that myself as an athlete am absolutely fascinated by, because to reach the highest levels, you realize it's not just physical. It comes down to actually the mindset, the psychology, and everything like that. But you decode these things.
Yeah.
So let's get in.
Let's go further. Let's just, and the audience will know this right away. If mindset was perfect, we wouldn't keep going back to it. It would work. Mindset fails under pressure because the nervous system will override your mind. Meaning, and I don't mean mind as in the whole essence, but the reptilian brain is tied into that fight or flight, which is, you're talking 100,000 years of human development. So when you say, hey, I think I've got to get the right mindset, I'm like, first of all, right according to who within you? We've been able to map that there's 102 different personas running around in the human, and we've done it time and time again, and see the behavioral traits, the thoughts, the feelings, the voices, both internal and external, the actions that go with that persona, the becoming. And so when we talk about mindset will always fail under pressure, which is why, especially in sports, when we work with the athletes and the teams, the number one thing we work on is, I'm not interested in your mindset. I'm interested in who's showing up at that moment, because who shows up in that moment matters equally as much as the external skill that's been trained. Because you're a champion fighter, great, that's physical. But if your identity shows up that is not engaged or feels threatened, and I'm not talking about the physical threat, feels I'm not good enough, there's so many people in the audience, will they judge me? What if my sponsor's watching? I had an argument with my significant other, my kid's sick and I don't want to be in the ring. Those are all running around in your nervous system. And if your nervous system gets triggered and a safety, your mindset's gone. You're not on plan A, plan B, and plan C. You are floating in the wind and hoping to God you get out of that ring. And we see this every time when we have champion fighters like yourself, they'll eventually get to the place where they're this. This is a systemic response going all the way back to fetalism, where we're down in the fetal position because that's it. That's our motion of safety. So you can see it go all the way back to the womb. And we visually watch it, people go, oh man, he just got knocked out. I'm like, no, his nervous system is at capacity, and if he is now at safety mechanism, that's it.
That's it. So it's like exactly what you're saying there. For myself, it's like I have to step into this other persona before the lights hit, the music hits, and I always say to my wife, I'm like, the guy that you know at home is not the guy that goes in the kitchen, because that guy can't be the guy that goes in there. Right?
Absolutely.
So like you were saying, there's certain identities that athletes create. Like my fight name is Saint Lion. And I always say I step into that.
Yes.
When I go into the cage, I am not the husband, I am not the father, I am not the son.
Right.
I am this warrior trying to get through the task.
Correct.
And I remember the biggest breakthrough for me was working with sports psychologists, was working with that, because I used to have that, like, where you can do 10, 15 rounds of sparring and you feel great in the gym.
Right.
But then 2 minutes into the actual fight in front, that tenseness just completely gasses you out.
Right.
Until I started switching my mind in that situation. Right. Is there like a certain personas that you do see commonly through high level, like in high level people that shows up always?
Yeah, you do. And part of what people is, and again, identity architecture, you have a lot of people out there respectfully on social media going, oh man, you got to become who you want. Okay, how? Yeah. Well, you just got to think about it. Oh, really? Well, we discovered that when we, did Beyond the Secret. If you just think about it, my purple Lamborghini is not sitting out front. I think about it all damn day long. That makes no sense. That's mental masturbation. That's all it is. You are mentally masturbating going, it's going to be there one day. It's going to be there one day. But your nervous system is in the background going, well, you know what? What happens if I get that purple Lamborghini and I get that money and people think I've changed? Or they don't think I'm
have that other
absolutely, and that nervous system identity will keep you from ever getting remotely close, much less even started to go down the road of that success to achieve that. Right. So when we talk about like the fighting, it's not even step into. Like when you said step into, I can go right away and go, okay, he's in the level 4. I mean, he's at the action stage, but there's one stage level deeper where you become it. So you can see this when, and anybody who's watching the podcast relate to this. You're in an argument with somebody, and all of a sudden this little extra part comes in, and they fly off the handle, they lose their mind, they go, I don't know what came over me. That's not like me. Like, it is absolutely like you, but you became that identity. You're no longer operating at a prefrontal cortex level. You are operating as that identity. You have stepped into it and beyond, where every part of your being is operating literally in a hypnotic trance, but your eyes are open. That's the part people don't understand. They think you have to go this or that. I'm like, that's Hollywood nonsense, man. 99.9% of the time, your eyes are open and you're walking around in a trance. You just don't know it. And I don't mean awake or asleep.
Right.
There's layers to it.
Yeah.
And we've discovered that trauma in and of itself, in any fashion or format, is a hypnotic event. So using sports as an example, football is one of the most powerful ones we see this in, especially in young, like Pee-wee, early high school. Coaches are seeking to motivate to get their, and they'll reach out and they'll grab the face mask of this young player and they're, what's going on with you? What's wrong with you? Well, that is a shock to your system. Right. Those kids go, yes, sir, no, sir, and then they freak out. Yeah. Well, the moment that's happening, whatever's being said and how their body is in that moment, they're in a trance. What's ever being said to them goes right into their subconscious. Right. And at the time, it seems like it's just a thing. Flash forward 20 years later, that kid, when they get braced in some sort of argument, comment, they go right to it. It's there. So until you get into that identity and reassign it and reintegrate it so that you're whole, it's going to be that way for the rest of your life, regardless of mindset.
That's interesting, because when I really do kind of think about that, when there is confrontation outside of the cage, like, whether it's an argument or anything, sure. I shell up. All right. Like, shell up mentally. Physically, I disconnect because you're kind of bracing impact, literally, without kind of seeing what's coming at you. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Brace is a great word. Brace is a cognitive word for nervous system is starting to reach capacity, and our nervous system is really kind. It gives us triggers all along the way to go, hey, this is increasing. Our capacity is getting there. We're to the point where overload. We're now locked out, but we're so asleep we don't notice it, and it's not to anybody's fault. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a digital marketer. It's not your fault. Right. But I'm saying, no, it really isn't, because we don't teach people identity structure of who they are. We've been teaching identity from a singular flat plane for the last 200 years. I, me, this is who I am. Like, who's I in that sentence? Right. Who's talking? And then if you just ask that question, you'll hear someone say I, they'll go, this is who I am. Okay, who's I in that sentence? Well, it's me. Okay, who's me? Who's talking? Yeah. They just stand there looking at you like, exactly. Wouldn't it be the most interesting adventure to know and explore? Because at the end of the day, meaning your life, think how much you've left on the table. You've never experienced about yourself, your relationship with your lover that you never expressed from other parts of you that are hidden in the background you're not even aware of. Yeah. But wouldn't that be more interesting? The ability to take a champion, to repeat that over and over and over and defend that championship with consistency. Same thing when we talk about trading as an example. It's everybody knows that we're in the zone. We have that great experience. That, man, if I could feel like that every day, life would be the bomb. It'd be amazing. You can, because it's not about one moment working. It's about making that moment return consistently over and over and over and over. That's the difference between a good outcome and an exceptional one. Right. And that's what we do, is we help them discover that 5%.
So if somebody's like had this whole veil, has had this whole persona for so long, what are you trying to do to start breaking that down? Because obviously we kind of resort back to what's comfortable. Even if the pain is comfortable, we resort back to the pain. Yep. Right? We resort back to, like we were talking about before this, like almost kind of self-sabotaging. It's almost like it.
Well, we return to the identity that we are defaulted to. You're right. So you'll hear sometimes people say, well, you default to the things that you're from the environment you're from. Okay, that has merit, but it's not the environment that you default to, it's the identity within that environment that you default to. So under pressure, we're gonna go to that space because that's what our encoding is based on. It is not about getting over it, letting it go, just gotta power through it. Those are all really cool, adrenaline pumping effects. Right, yeah. Great, but what happens when the adrenaline wears off? What it is about truly integrating and reassigning. What I mean by reassigning is, in that traumatic moment where we talk about the helmet, whatever was said, that becomes the belief. That belief now becomes how they perceive the world. How they perceive the world is how they act in the world. How they act in the world is who they become. So we see this progression. We can literally map it. And when I say map, I mean a map, which is what makes it fun, because you're like, hey man, this is like, I'm a pirate going on to find hidden treasure. I'm like, yeah, but the treasure is you. And then it manifests out here without having to, I had to put, things on the board, or all of the things that we've heard for the last, I don't know.
Definitely.
We'll call it 100 years. We'll leave it at that. So when you're able to reassign it, what does that mean? It means once I see the original trauma, the first thing we got to do is regulate your nervous system. And you see this time and time again, and it does more damage. It's called re-traumatization. You're angry and you're upset. And I'm like, hey, champ, hey, we can work it through. You're like, man, leave me alone. I need a minute. What's going on? And the person comes and goes, hey, man, I need you to relax. That's the worst thing you can say to someone who's in capacity. It goes another notch. Okay. But we do that because we go right to the fix. Hold on. Before anything happens, that nervous system needs to be regulated, and we need to escalate from the perspective that the nervous system feels threatened. When it feels threatened, it's fight or flight survival 101. It's I'll get out of here, I'll fight my way out, I'll destroy my relationship, I'll ruin my trading account, I'll say something that is just, that wasn't me, because it was, but you just weren't aware of it. So first thing we gotta do is regulate. Once we get regulated, now we gotta go through the changes. And when we see that change, we go, well, I'm aware of it. Yeah, well, I'm aware of a lot of the things that I do that I'm just like, why do I do that? But that doesn't create change. We want transformation. We want evolution. We want escalation. So we go back and we find that original belief, and we actually recode it. We reassign that persona, because getting rid of a persona is impossible. That's like, champ, I want you to cut off your right arm, but you're still a 2-arm fighter. Right. Makes no sense. But that's how we tell people to think, and then they get frustrated because they can't achieve it. Yeah. We reassign it, and then now we have a reintegration. As we start doing this, imagine you've got 10 persona parts, and they're all volleying for safety mechanisms. So there's this going on sometimes. It's a big bowl of spaghetti. But as you start to realign them, you've got this, then you'll get that, then you'll get this. And before you know it, you've got this. Right. Well, this now, I'm operating at full capacity without threat. I'm consciously competent and I'm aware of it. Now I'm architecting to choose who I choose to be in a certain situation or conflict or experience. And once you get that, life changes. I've done it to my own life. I'm living proof of it. You can pick a trauma. Right? I haven't had it all. I would never say that, but I've had a lot of them. Right? And so I'm a living proof of my own system. Am I perfect? No. I tried to walk on water this morning right before we did this. I sank right to the bottom. So let's just get that out of the way. And I don't mean perfection. What I mean is capacity. We move from catastrophe to capacity. And once we understand where we are on a capacity level, we no longer are living in the catastrophe style mindset. We're living in a capacity. So now I learn how to regulate myself. Now it's easy for us to go, champ, I need to take 5 minutes. I can feel myself getting capacitized. I'm going to go over here and we show you exactly how to regulate yourself. And once you regulate, then you can go back. Now I'm taking ownership. I don't need you to call me out. I don't need to go to, something and beat my head against a wall, or I don't need to, chastise myself. I don't need to work on mindset. I need to get my nervous system so that's regulated. I'm not talking kumbaya and sitting there and doing the Zen, although that does help. Right. It's about once I understand I'm regulated, I can now see who inside of me was objecting. What is that purpose? The purpose is always protection. What is it seeking to protect me from? Is it an external or an internal experience? Usually it's both, but I see that I now know how to reassign it. And once I reassign it, now when I get those markers, I don't go into capacity issues. My mind goes, oh, I see this, got it. And then you'll actually shift into a different persona long before you ever get to capacity now. Right. It happens automatically.
That's wild.
So
how do you first of all pull the trauma? Like, how do you almost pinpoint the trauma the person is? Because a lot of us compartmentalize, or we even forget where it's coming from, or the stuff that adds up over years and years of going through life and stuff like that. How do you even map that out to get to that first source?
Great question. So with every person we start with, and like you and I were talking about off camera, we start with what's called your first identity blueprint. And it literally is a blueprint. We have blueprints for everything in this world, this building, editing platforms, the octagon is a blueprint. We don't have a blueprint for identity structure. Now we have a blueprint. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to walk you through it. This blueprint we usually start with 20 questions.
Okay.
And you fill it in, and we're able to map who's talking and what level of trauma it's operating from, what its identity. Once we do that, then we can come back and we isolate it. Okay. Hey, we're going to talk about, let's say, the Herald, right? Herald's one of our core personas. A Herald is not, you know, the
So they have names.
Oh God, yes. You have to, because you got to name it.
Okay.
Because if I say, "Hey, how you feeling?" People have a difficult time describing how they're feeling because emotions sometimes don't have words.
Yeah.
So we were able to name them in a way that allowed the mind not to reject it, and at the same time go, "Oh, okay, I can see that. Got it. Now I can name it." And when I name it, I mean, you could take this into biblical. Name all the birds and the trees and the animals. So there's an organizational structure within the identity. And as you have an organizational structure, you know where you are. A lot of times I'll say this. Imagine I dropped you off in the Sahara Desert. I said, "Champ, here's the deal. I need you to be in New York in 3 days, but you don't have GPS, you don't have a map, and yet I've said, now get there." That's how we approach life.
Right.
The chances of you getting out of the desert are less than 1%.
Right.
Right. So it's a travesty of how we start to miss our life because we don't know where we are, who's talking. We know where we want to go, but we can't get there. So we backpedal in, and when we isolate that trauma, it will literally come down to a belief structure where I said a moment ago, like, "Hey, I'm not good enough," is a simple belief structure that comes from this big experience where you get grabbed by the face mask. Coach says, "What are you doing? We practice on this. You never do this in game time. What's the matter with you? Hey, man, you're not living up to your potential." So the theme or the thematic that drops underneath becomes, "I'm not good enough."
Right.
And that buries in the subcon. And our subconscious is cyclical. It
Right.
runs all of this, man.
Yeah.
So it's going to keep cycling. "I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough." And it builds a persona around that as it starts to see situations where I'm not going to be good enough, I'm reaching capacity, I will actually, now using your language, Champ, I will self-sabotage it. And it looks like self-sabotage, but it's not. It's actually your nervous system going, "I don't want to feel that way anymore, so I'm going to interrupt that unconsciously because I'm not good enough. I already feel that. I may not even be consciously aware of it, and I'm going to stop myself before I feel that." And it'll do it over and over and over. And so we rewrite that part of that belief structure and re-traumatize it. And again, the body always knows trauma before the brain does. Always.
Is there like certain, like, you know, there's certain things where it's harmful, but it's beneficial in different areas?
Yep.
Is there certain personas that...
Well, think about it. Let's use MMA,
Yeah.
right? Fighting has a drawback. Again, I'm preaching to the choir, so please know that I'm not coming from your experience, nor am I seeking to. But let's from an identity architect, perspective and a performance coach, I'm like, hey, this is a short time we're going to be able to do this. Why? Because yes, the outward effect of you winning, phenomenal. Financial, fame, sponsors, identity shift, security for the family, those are all benefits. But the internal part, the pain I go through to get to that journey internally, the physical pain, the emotional pain, the psychological pain, yeah, that can hurt you over time if it's not integrated. And that's why we see great champions, all of a sudden after they're out of the ring or they're out of the octagon, they implode.
Yeah.
You're going, what are you talking? Man, you're the champ, man. You got life together. But that's what people see way out there at 100 yards. Back down here on the 1 yard line, it's a mess. So we do harmful things to ourselves in the name of blank. So we have what's called conflicting identities. So we have an external identity. I step into that, I'm ready to rock. But on the inside, I know my child's sick, my heart's there. I'm fighting myself going, man, I need to get out of this ring.
Yeah.
And you'll lose the fight, not because of skill, not because you can't, live up to that moment, because your heart is going, man, I'm not in it, and I need to get out of this. So I'm willing to take that pain externally to solve the pain over here that's immediate to me, that's intimate to me, child. Examples. And that happens over and over in every topic of our life. And this is the best and most exciting part for all the people listening. This is the adventure of a lifetime. You can not ever again, once you see the identity architecture, go, I'm bored. It's not possible.
Really?
Because you can apply the 102 parts of you, and you're literally, it's not even chess, it's I'm creating an experience and I'm architecting the life that I want, but I'm doing it with conscious competence, and I'm healing and I'm integrating the parts of me that I've carried, sometimes I'm not even aware of, for sometimes decades.
Right.
And now I go look at life differently, because now you'll see the architecture, we'll see how people are moving, but more who's talking to me, not necessarily what they're saying. Well, once I see the who, well, I can connect at a different level. I can see whether they're regulated or not. Is it causing me to dysregulate? Am I allowing that influence? Am I choosing to let myself get deregulated? And now it becomes this absolute adventure of relentless curiosity.
Right.
Relentless.
Is that something like, for you to build into that, it's almost like you have to spend time on your own, or is it, or have you seen people build it with their families?
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be an identity choice, because there's identities that do, isolation is there. Right. So for example, if we look at
that used to be the biggest thing for me. When I'd come for fight training, I would come here 3 months on my own. Absolutely. My family would not come with me. On the week of the fight, I didn't talk to my wife, and she knew the routine and everything like that. And even after the fight, I would still be in that state where I didn't really know how to function in the real world anymore.
Right.
Because I had been around nothing but bells going off, coaches yelling, violence. Nobody spoke about their feelings. No one, if you told me you were hurting, I trusted you were hurting. You were never like, there's no mixed matching like emotions. Yeah. But then you go back into the real world, and you're back with your family, you're back with your wife, you're back with your kids, the real world. Or like, hey, I'm not feeling so good, but this person is feeling great, or like, you're trying to figure out these things and you're just completely lost.
Totally. And we see this with our veterans. We work a lot with PTSD recovery. We work with first responders. These men and women are in an absolute catastrophic situations. They see sometimes the most horrific things that human beings should never have to see or deal with. However, that's part of that job. Well, how do you go from, I just saw someone decapitated in an auto accident, then I got to go back home and go, hey, what do you want to eat for dinner? Yeah. There's multiple identities. So we start compartmentalizing, we stuff it down as a way to deal with it. Then as the nervous system says, hey, we're reaching capacity of how much trauma we can take in, we go into anesthetizing, drinking, drugs, sex, porn, whatever it is to get my nervous system to make me feel better, but it's a Band-Aid. And we do this as a way of distracting ourselves, because that down there puts our nervous system in absolute capacity.
How do you recognize that though? Like you're saying, like, you resort to those things, you resort to drinking, and you're not thinking that you're just casually just relaxing. You end up partying a lot, but you think you're just, I deserve this. But then it becomes like something, like a cycle begins without you knowing that there's a cycle begins, and you think you're just balancing your life in a way.
Right. Well, when we start looking at it, the first thing when we work with any athlete, any team, any organization, any administration, diplomats, whatever we're working with at the time, the first thing is we actually work with awareness. And people talk about awareness in this quasi-euphoric, flippant state. And I'm not disrespecting it. It has its value there as well. I'm talking about internal and external awareness simultaneously. This is not new. This goes back 10,000 years we've been talking about it, but we never had a system to understand what that means unless you're absolutely dedicated to that lifestyle. And 99.99% of the people are not. Right? A Buddhist monk or a devout Sikh, as an example, might be an example of that lifestyle. And they're necessary, but they're very few. We call them teachers or gurus, right? Which, by the way, I love guru. It's like, G-U-R-U.
Yeah, I'm Sikh.
Yeah. Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
forgive me for not knowing that. But G-U-R-U, which is what guru really means. G, you are you. And you means the full embodiment of all 102. And at that level of 102, there's actually one above that. And we get into that. And that's where we see the devout Sikhs who arrive at this enlightened state. Right. What they've really done is they've integrated all these personas and their traumas to become whole. We come into this world whole, and we fracture. Right. We see this at a very young age, 2, 3 years old. We learn how to manipulate mom and dad. I say one thing to dad, I say another, and I act completely different to mom to get where I need to go so that my nervous system feels better. Okay. So we start with integrational awareness, and then we start with acceptance. Often we cannot accept that we're at capacity. Especially men. I'm not at capacity. I've got it. I'm a fighter. I'm tough. I'm a military man. I'm a special force operator. I'm a first responder. Yeah. I've got to hold it together. And as when someone says like, if I can hold it together, that's my first clue they're already dropping into shadow.
Yeah, I'm definitely a victim of that.
We all are.
Like I'll admit that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
Even in business, you know, we have CEOs, entrepreneurs, they're running massive organizations and they're right on the edge of burnout. They're like, if I don't hold this all together, this house of cards collapses.
Yeah.
And they're running at this capacity level to the point where not only they burn out, they crash and burn, but the whole thing collapses. So then we make them aware, and then we'll show you the action steps based on you, because it's a fingerprint. This is not a one size fits all. It's each size fits you. So the system fits within you. It fits within anybody you see. And that now all of a sudden it's individual. Often we say, hey, I need you to have this mindset, champ. This is what I want you to focus on. And then you'll go to say the same thing to the other fighter. But you're two different sovereign beings manifesting, yes, human, I understand that, but completely different ideologies.
Yeah.
But we try to fit this cookie cutter scenario for everybody, and then people wonder why they can't get to it. So as we go through that cycle, we also get into trauma regulation.
Right.
Because like I said earlier, your system is giving you signals all along, but we're not aware of those signals. We blow them off. Oh man, that was just a negative thought. I just got to get rid of my negative thoughts. Okay, who was having a negative thought? How come that who is firing that thought at you? That's a level one to go, hey, we're starting to go down this road. Our capacity is starting to get up. I'm starting to feel that anxiety. Now I'm at level, I'm at level 2. I'm at a feeling. I can physically feel my body starting to tighten up, shortness of breath. My focus starts to narrow. I'm not seeing everything around me. I'm going from 180 perspective down to 10%. Then I'm narrowing because I'm getting concerned. I'm starting to look at this threat. My vocal tone will change. I'll hear a voice in my head that has more of a male tone. It could switch to a female tone or vice versa.
Interesting.
All right. So, because we never look at it a tonality. Tone is a massive, or how I talk will shift. You can hear someone's voice get tighter.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on? Man, you can hear that get tighter and you're like, oh crap, we're at level 3. But once we start going down that road, we show you awareness. We show you the acceptance. Hey, I just realized I'm at a level 3. Oh my gosh, man. Hold on a second. And you know the protocol to get your system to regulate. And then
in that moment?
In that moment.
Wow.
Because that's real life.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what, is
like not assessing it after, but like in that.
It's that's my humble opinion. That's often re-traumatization. You come to me and say, hey, I want to work on something that happened when I was 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then I see it manifesting in my life and I want to become this thing. Okay, great. When you and I are talking on the couch like this, you're not in that identity. You're in a completely different one. So I can talk to you, I'm blue in the face, and I might as well go talk to somebody completely different about you as though it's you.
Right.
It has the exact same effect. So this is why when we constantly talk about it, what we're really doing is we're actually re-traumatizing, we're reliving it, but from a different persona. So it's like this person has a cold, then you shake hands with them, now they have a cold, now you have 2 who has a cold, and it keeps going. Next thing you know, you got 5 or 6 personas that have now been distorted or twisted into this trauma, because now it's trying to find a way to protect you. And instead, we keep opening the wound, opening the wound, opening the wound, opening the wound. You're aware of the wound, you lived it.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about it again and over. We understand it, we map it, and we understand who was there at that moment in you, because we need to understand who is there.
Right.
And that's always done at the subcon level. And then what we're doing is we're bringing that, because our subconscious is always seeking to bring it to our awareness.
Right.
But then awareness has to go into acceptance. And this is where, especially as men, we struggle.
Yeah.
I can't accept that I felt vulnerable or that my heart's wide open and that's not cool and I'm
That's
crying.
the biggest transition from fighting that I've always had, because I never had to be that way.
Right. In fact, it's shunned.
Yeah, it's shunned.
It's suck it up, man.
Yeah,
Stop being
suck
such
it
a
up.
bitch.
And now you go back into your home and your wife is like, how are you feeling?
Right.
Come on, talk to me.
I feel great.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
great.
fine.
Talk to me. Like, what's going on in your head? And you're just like,
This is work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we're just blowing them off.
And you're just blowing it off.
What we're doing is we're creating a cycle in the relationship where that trauma in the ring that is not being addressed now has a second, which is now it's the relationship. Then it'll move to your child. Then it'll move to your business. And this is how we start to see capacity move into catastrophe and collapse. And that's just where we get in and we say, look, you can interrupt this in real time. If you don't, going back after the fact, that's really great. And you can talk about it and you're aware of it, but does it change? If that was the case, people would never need a therapist. That industry would be obliterated.
Right.
And yet, right now, mental health and mental health awareness, mental health in and of itself, is becoming the #1 thing on a global level, right? We saw this really exacerbated in COVID. We're now seated in the current experiences that the world's going through right now. And it doesn't matter what country I go to, it's the same,
Right.
right? We're all beings having a human experience and or manifesting as human, if you want to put it in that direction. Great. Which that means the system then is systemic. It can replicate itself to every one of us, and it does. But what makes it cool now is how those personas all move is individual to you.
Right.
And now, all of a sudden, the aligned you, the best self you, the oracle you, if you will, the divine you, now comes out in that moment we talked about where everything works. Now, all of a sudden, you know how to repeat that. And it just happens. It doesn't happen from luck. It's because you're aligning yourself and you're getting those personas that we're trying to protect. Now, they're working with you.
Right.
Because you've reintegrated the trauma, you've reassigned it at the subconscious level, you've changed the belief structure because now it's ready because the nervous system is regulated. Otherwise, imagine a guard at the gate of the castle. You can talk to your blue in the face of that guard, but until that guard lets you in, whatever's going on inside that castle, that's what's going to happen every single time.
Right.
There you go.
So do you believe that the wiring of the genders are different in, kind of handling this? Like we were saying, like mental health side of it. It seems like it's a dominant thing in males.
Oh, totally.
And is that just because of how we regulate emotions and how we kind of try to understand how we're functioning within that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because I can speak for myself. Like my wife she's able to articulate what she's feeling much more clearly.
Yes.
And she can even sometimes tell me what I'm feeling.
Most definitely.
And
Most definitely.
But she'll be like, why are you acting this way? Why are you disconnected? And I can't figure out where it's coming from. Like, why are you shut off? Why are you in this? And,
right. So let's answer this backwards first. Let's start with the why. All right. Whenever someone says, why is this? Why are you acting this way, champ? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
Right? Your brain is going to search for an answer. And it's usually going to start with because. Why is it? Well, because I had a crappy day. Well, what does that have to do with me? Well, it doesn't. Well, then why do you bring it home? Well, what do you mean? And all of a sudden this escalates because we're not really saying anything. We're actually trying to give articulation to a why question. So the whole essence of, especially when we do the relationship side, it's change of, hey, who in you right now is choosing to bring this action forward? Now, we as a person with a map, as a male, we can look at it and go, oh, yeah, it's that persona right there. I got it. All right, honey, hold on a second. I allow myself to regulate, and now I can re-engage. But I'm re-engaging from a regulated space as opposed to, I don't know, just quit bugging me.
Right.
Why do you always talk shit to me when I walk in the door? I just want some peace, man. I just want to turn on the TV and I'm going to numb out. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
No guy has ever done that before.
Yeah, no guy's ever done that.
Right. Self included, right here, guys. Guilty as charged. And so, what makes this so much fun? And I mean that. I'm not making light of trauma. I've had a ton of trauma. People, and I've been on stage my whole life. So people go, oh, Travis has got it all together. He's got the answers. I'm like, I tried to walk on water, boys and girls. I sank right to the bottom. So I don't have all the answers, but I do have the map. And when you have a map, you at least know where you are and how to get to where you want to go. That alone takes our nervous system's capacity and it goes, whew, finally I have an understanding of what the heck is happening. Who is doing this? How do I go? But for years I lived a split identity, which is how this started. When I grew up, I was molested 4 times by the time I was 13 by both male and female. Well, back in my day, and I'm 55 now, you didn't talk about that.
Right.
You're quiet. So I have this front persona that's, hey, I'm Travis Fox. I'm modeling runway. I can be on a microphone. I'm there. I'm life of the party. I'm cool, man. I'm great, having a great time. On the inside, if anybody found out that I had been molested by a male, that makes me gay.
Right.
And I struggle with, well, how do I define? Am I? Because I participated.
Right.
Yeah, but I participated in a molestation, right? That's part of, now we're going all the way back.
Talks you had to have with yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Right, because I had to discover who was in there.
Right.
But that all goes all the way back to that, because molestation puts you in an absolute fight or flight mode. Your system freezes. Even though you're still participating, you're just trying to survive it. Right? No different than rape. You are seeking to get out of it, even though you're in it, and it is horrific. You're seeking to get out of it. Even if you're still having the physical experience, you're seeking to get out of this and survive. That is the number one thing we're trying to do. Even if it means, I have to participate to get through it. We have relationships that do this all day long.
Right.
So I started with that, and then my athletic career, I started playing golf when I was 5. My dad put a golf club in my hand, and I was being groomed to be a PGA Tour professional golf. My life was written for me. It was it. You're doing this. I'm like, do I get a choice? No, you're going to do that. Okay. So I started playing golf. And of course, I become very good at it. And I take on the identity that this is who Travis is going to become. This is my life. Well, that's really great, except for when I started modeling, I have 2 parts of me that are enjoying, because my mother was a model and actress, so I wanted to go experience that. I enjoyed it. I loved the validation. It was fun. I saw the audiences, and it was cool.
Right.
Golf is an isolated sport at 13, and you're a dork wearing plaid.
Yeah.
You're not the cool kid. And back then we had cleats and you had plaid. They're like, yeah, I got to try to make this cool. I'm like, this isn't Caddyshack. We're not even close to cool. We're just dorks. And it's a lot of isolationism, because you're out there on the range. Like if you're shadow boxing, you're doing it by yourself. You at least have the mirror. In golf, it's you and the ball, and that's it. Maybe your coach, but the coach comes by for 15 minutes. So I'm living this identity of I need to be a professional golfer. And every time I wouldn't win, I was reinforced by my father that there's only is winning. That's it. If you didn't win, you're last.
Right.
But Dad, there's 156 other players in the tournament. I don't care. You have to win. So now you have obligation and pressure. When I don't perform, I get guilt and shame.
Right.
So now I'm in the 3rd identity. How do I manage all this guilt and shame with my
That's
father?
just at a young age, and now we're...
Yeah, we're at 14, right?
Yeah, we're...
I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Mind you what, now we're in high school, we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going, hey, you want to go steady? And here's my Letterman jacket. I'm like, yeah, I just slept with a 29-year-old woman who was molesting me for 2 years.
Right.
But it sounds cool on the inside.
Yeah.
But my emotional capacity at that time, I was like, I don't know how to relate to a 15-year-old or 16-year-old girl. I'm like,
Got it.
I was just engaged in these very adult sexual acts. Holding hands to me makes no sense, so I disengage.
Wow.
So I start to live a 3rd identity of, no, I'm going to be the life of the party. I'm going to be the golfer. I'm going to be the guy that's just there. I know everybody, but I'm never with anybody. So I have to navigate this survival where everyone else is going, oh, we're going steady and da-da-da.
Yeah.
So I missed out on that entire sequence.
Right.
And I thought I was the oddball. Why me?
Yeah.
You know, what did I do? How come they didn't go through that? And then there's a 4th identity coming up. By the time I'm 19, I'm on stage, I'm speaking. I attempt to go pro, and I am miserable. I am an asshole on stage.
Mentor.
I am ruthless to myself. I'm in so much pain that the internal personas had gone from this to this. And these are dialogues like, man, you suck. You're a piece of shit. You can't even make a 3-foot putt. What the fuck are you doing out here? And you just go. And you're beating the crap out of yourself. Meanwhile, all of these parts are still there too, because then you go, hey, you guys want to go to a party? No, not really. What if they find out that this, and what if they find out that?
Right.
Will they still accept me? So these are all going on simultaneously, and you got to carry that over time. But eventually you explode. I did. I cracked. I absolutely cracked, which was the best thing that could ever happen to me. I didn't like it. It felt horrible.
But what did that mean? Like when you crack, like what was that?
Playing great golf to couldn't break 80.
Right.
I would stand there on the tee and say, okay, we're ready to go. Why the hell did I wear these shoes today? And then I would look down and I go, God, it doesn't match. I don't feel cool. There's my image, because I want acceptance, and part of my persona is looking for that. Oh, this guy can play, and then I just would start crying. I would lose. I couldn't control. I was at capacity. I couldn't control my emotions anymore, and I was looking at cognitive behavioral models. You know, Freud in his model was talking about it, but it wasn't changing, because I could tell you what was going on. But I got a little different than you said. I got on the tee. Well, once I step on the box, you can't talk to me. It's me and the ball. So now I'm in my own world. I'm in my own prison, and everybody's watching me, but I can't tell anybody.
Right.
So, and we see this over and over, especially with our young athletes. This re-traumatization of who they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to act, and their feelings aren't supposed to be there at all. And then they try to live a normal life, whatever that is. And it's just boom. So they will actually now self-sabotage their career, because that's the only way to get safe. I'm in a constant state of trauma. And you start moving into the entertainment world. Now I'm on stage. I've changed my life. I met my mentor and master, and I started studying, and I really said, I need to know everything about this, because I'm that guy that goes, well, how do you do it? Because people go, hey man, you just need to let it go. You just got to clear your mind. You just got to hit the shot. You got to be in the flow. I'm sorry. And maybe I'm the dumb shit in the room.
Right.
I consider myself fairly intelligent. I got great grades through school, which is really memorization and regurgitation. But according to them, I was smart. But I feel like a dumb shit because I can't figure it out. And yet I've been doing this since I was 5.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, I can't swing the club. And no one could give me the answer. So I went, well, how come? How did that just happen? And I became obsessed with, there's something going on inside of me that I don't have conscious awareness and control until it's already there. I'm already in it.
You came to your own realization on that?
Absolutely. That's what started my career.
That's amazing.
And so I started looking. As I was, starting to expand and I started the subconscious and I started my hypnosis career, my stage performance. Yes, I'm a great stage performer, and I say that respectfully. I was very good at it. I was one of the top in the business. I enjoyed it. But I was also secretly studying every single person on stage. I was studying the audience of how does this person who says, I can never be hypnotized. You can't hypnotize me. Oh, okay. Boom, boom, you're out. Now all of a sudden this person's doing Britney Spears, this 350-pound, just a beast of a human male is up there going, oops, I did it again. And I'm like, how the hell did that just happen? Right. And I mapped the behaviors. And so on stage, I had this beautiful petri dish of humanity because humans saw it as a stage hypnosis show. I saw it as a laboratory. Wow. And so I'm in the background writing things down and I'm studying going, well, okay, when I hit this program and I throw this, I kept seeing these traits over and over again. Male, female, didn't matter, but I saw the traits. And I started, okay, well, I know if I say this, that I'm gonna get this response. This is how they're gonna perform within a margin of error of roughly 5 to 10%. And I started building the system. And I went, huh. And then I would work with private clients or I'd work with athletes or I'd go do a sales training or whatever I was doing. Because my mentor master said something to me, he goes, I want you to take this everywhere you can and find the place that it doesn't work and then fix it from there. So I would take it everywhere. I'd take it to places where nobody wanted to go. Right. I mean, I would work with our military vets. I'd go out and work with them. I'd go out and work with corporations. I'd work with dignitaries. And I would put myself in situations, not unlike Stoics, if you will, to find out where the system would break down. And then when I see it would break down, I would start to map it. And I go, okay, this is where I said this and this created this persona, but I was looking for that behavior. So how do I get to that? And it became this grid. And it's literally a grid to this day. We actually call it the Mind Personas grid. Right. So when you see the grid, it all makes sense because now I have a map. So now I can go, oh, hey, champ, we're gonna go do this. We're gonna work on this response. This is where you wanna be. You wanna have the belt. We're gonna repeat this 3 times and then we're gonna get out. Okay, great. Where are we at? I'm gonna map you here and I'm gonna map you every step of the way because what we don't do in performance under pressure training is we go, okay, here's your gig for the week. See you next week. Right. And then we're gonna go back and reanalyze that week while we're in this week. So now we have this compounding backwards effect and you never catch up. I'm gonna map you every step of the way. I'm gonna map you in the morning. We're gonna go train. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna throw things at you. And I'm gonna force you to be aware of everything you're doing while you're doing it, right? Even when you're just doing things that you know you've done 1,000 times. Great. If you're doing those 1,000 times and you go, I got it. Right there, I know there's a persona already erupting because you've already gone to sleep. I've already got it. Yeah, you may have it while you're shadow boxing, but when you have an opponent, who's gonna show up? Right. So we would map you all the way through. And now we have this moving map because the truth is life is movement. Because when we flatline, there's no movement. Yeah. So life is movement. So now we have a map that doesn't say, well, this is who you are, bang. It's a static thing, you're stuck there forever. That's not true. You've already said in this interview, when I'm in fighting, I do this guy shows up, this is how I work, this is how I act, I don't deal with my family. When I integrate back in, I have to deregulate my system because if I don't, bang, right? Something happens with my wife, something goes with my kid. Yeah. I don't want that to happen. If it does, you beat the crap out of yourself internally. And why are you being such a schmuck? You need to stop that. So we map it every step of the way. Now for you can literally look at your map. You can see your progress metrics. I can show from the moment, we just did it. I'm so excited. So for me, everything's a case study. Right. Because I'm relentlessly curious. I'm insatiable. I eat, walk, talk, shoot, shit. I'm like, guys, everything, this is it. This is my legacy. This is my soul's destiny. Yeah. And I've been waiting and working for 35 years. But I understood I had to go through my own shit too. And we just got to work with South Dakota State University women's golf team, NCAA Division I. And we worked with them for 4 weeks. We mapped all of their metrics. They just won their conference for the first time in the school's history in 4 weeks. Boom. Now we're going back and we're implementing the system on a year-long study. Now we're going to move over and work with the softball team. Now we're going to work with everybody else. We're like, guys, this is where we're moving in sports performance. It's identity architecture from the system that we've actually been able to create. Now we're starting to work with other practitioners and we're training them because obviously there's two of us. There's no way.
Right.
But we start mapping it to go, well, Pro, what if I said, I'm going to train you to be identity architect under the Mind Personas human identity architecture system, and you're going to go work with all the MMA guys. Yeah, I can work with you, but there's going to be a point where I can't reflect the experience as well as you can. I am not an MMA fighter. I'm not an MMA champion. I don't have the techniques. I'm not a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a sports performance guy, but you're not. Now I can help you become a sports performance guy and MMA and a businessman and a father, because now you can take that as an inceptual point and you go out and look at the wave you create. And if we've done this right, and you know, God willing, and for all my friends on the mashallah, you know, for God willing, we'll have this as a system that will go on for the next generation until our next evolution of systems. But we're getting faster as we evolve through humanity. Now we're down to 100 years. Maybe it's 50 years next time, or maybe it's 25, maybe it's instant. And a lot of people are just turning to AI. We have a whole AI that's based on our system. We've been training for years behind the scenes.
Right.
So it's our own server. It's not ChatGPT. It's not Claude. It's not where people are going. Those are learning systems. This is an actual protocol system that can trigger, hey, I see that you're having a trauma. Bang, stop. Stop. We need to regulate the nervous system, or we need to call 911, and we need to get you help right now. Because you're never alone. And to like a vet or a first responder, that's everything. Right. That's the difference between life and death, literally, theirs. Yeah. And that's what we want to get help them, because they help us. We expect them to be there. We expect them to have their shit together. Yeah. Well, who helps them?
Is there like certain breakthroughs through certain people, like you see just a complete shift in them?
Oh, absolutely. And look, man, I've done a lot of drugs in my life just to experience things, from everything from ayahuasca to psilocybin to, name it. I got it, all right? Yeah. And they're a lot of fun, but they didn't create transformation. But they're a lot of fun.
You're actually the second person that said that about ayahuasca, that they did it and they didn't come out of it. They had like the whole ego death, but then after that, they didn't really
I talked to my shadow. That was what helped unlock for me the last.
You spoke to your shadow in the
It talked to me.
Okay.
Mind you, for all of you listening, yes, it was like I was psychedelically tripping, but there was a picture on the wall, and I was in Machu Picchu. I'll never forget it. And there's a picture on the wall of a shaman painted, but it had a shadow that I hadn't noticed when I was getting ready to go to ceremony. Right. In ceremony, I just happened to look up, and all of a sudden it turned and started talking. I'm like, and I'm aware that this is happening, but I can't stop it because we're on the trip. Of course. And it starts talking to me, and that was where, for me, it was the light bulb of, oh my gosh, I've been looking at this all wrong. That's why it doesn't make sense. I couldn't get these last pieces to fit from my part of it. And the shadow said, why are you still running from me? I'm not here to sabotage you. I'm not here. I've been trying to protect you. And the more you run, the more I've got to protect you. And we've been playing this cat and mouse game. I always felt like I was running from a ghost my whole life. And I kept asking people, what the fuck am I running from? Yeah. I teach this stuff and I can't figure it out. And no one could give me an answer. And that came out of that, but it still didn't transform me. It just gave me an awareness to go, oh, let me go look at it. The answer to your question, yes. I can tell you I had a client, an elder statesman, and he was a heavy drinker for 50 years. One identity mapping session, boom, he understood what the alcohol was actually doing, the persona that was engaging and what it was about. Hasn't drank since that was a year ago. Right. We didn't have to go through all these long programs. Some people need that, not disrespecting it. I work with a major league baseball pitcher. I'll leave his name out. And literally in one session, we were able to get him out of his own way, architect the pitches, and go from 94 miles an hour to 96 miles an hour in one session. No physical changes. I'm not a baseball coach. I didn't even meet him physically. We did this online. Wow. So I don't have to be physically in front of you, which is difficult. And watching these transformations and people who are healing their relationships, in minutes. Because the illusion that we've had, Champ, is that healing has to take time. Right. Well, then that negates every faith on this planet. Every religion says, bang,
Right.
I mean, Christ says, behold, your faith has healed you. Boom, you have sight. It didn't take, well, on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you're going to get your thing, but you got to wait because it's, it's Wednesday, bro. You got to wait a whole week. It's instant because the fracture was instant. So therefore, the integration can be instant. Is it happen that way every time? No, but it's a hell of a lot shorter. And you see these things, and this is the drug now. And I say drug is the feeling I am absolutely, passionately, relentlessly addicted to, of watching people architect their lives and being right there with them, because now they have the tool. I can go, champ, it's yours. On to the next one. I don't need to come back and go, okay, well, let's do a 12-month sequence. Let me teach you a DIY course and all that. The thing that you said at the intro, by the way, I was like, oh, that's really funny. I was like, good point, by the way. I was like, yeah, that happens. And it's not, you're no longer needing a coach. You're getting an identity architect says, I'm gonna help you create the blueprint. And now you're the architect. You create the blueprint because you understand the system. And once you understand the system, yeah, if you need to check in with me, happy to do it for you, answer some questions. Beyond that, you now have a system. You don't need me.
Right.
That's how we heal people, because now you're in charge of your life, and you should be. You shouldn't be codependent on me. That makes you codependent. Right? That's nonsense.
So what's the process of that system, like time-wise? Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
are we talking about like just working with a player team coach?
Yeah,
are we
yeah,
talking about practitioner level? What are we talking
just
about?
like if I was to sit down with you and I'm just like, listen, I need to figure out how to map my life out and how to make it more efficient. Like I told you, like, just kind of withdrawing and kind of being in this new chapter of my life where I'm more at home, I'm more with my family, I'm more of a father, but at the same time, I'm also day trading, like I told you, I'm doing this podcast. So MMA used to be everything, but it's not everything no more. Right. So it's like I'm in this new identity, which it's more of this, where it used to be every day was wake up, train to be the best, go to sleep, eat, everything. It was very singular, it felt like. But now life is no longer singular. There's bills involved, there's finances involved. Got to be on top of this stuff. You're
growing a brand.
You're growing a brand, and there's so much of it.
Parlaying.
Exactly. So you feel like you're just running in this circle, and just exactly trying not to combust in it, but you're trying to navigate all these things, because you do see high-level people. You're like, how does that guy run a Fortune 500 company? I'm not running a Fortune 500 company, and he's able to do this, and he's able to do this. Yeah,
I mean, and going backwards again, a high-level operator, an entrepreneur, a high-level CEO, or even leadership. We just worked with a major multinational corporation that, is in 50 countries, 27,000 employees, and the deal was, if you have a system of communication that is at the human layer, because we have systems now all over the place. We have AI, we have cash systems, we have transactional systems, we have payment systems, and we expect them all to work. But the part we don't focus on is the human layer, because that's where it breaks down. AI doesn't break. I mean, it does. You can recode it. Great, but that's a human that's doing that. Right? And now we're getting AI to code AI. But the point is, we don't focus on the human layer. We don't have a system that can cross countries, cross languages, because some languages don't need words. There's parts of the system that don't require words. You don't need words. Besides, you have, if you're multilingual, which word am I talking about? So it allows us to be one species, and no matter where you go, you can still see, oh, I see what that identity is. So backpedaling, it works with the human layer. Backcutting to the initial part of your question, the first thing we're gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna send you an initial intake questionnaire. And that intake questionnaire is your choice. The way it's designed, it's not a pick one of these 4 quadrants and you figure it out. Well, that's telling you these are the choices you have. That's not life. You have infinite choices, right? So you're gonna fill in the blanks. Well, as you're doing that, your subconscious is also exposing itself and filling in the blanks. We then take it in and we do your first map.
I noticed it when I was filling it out yesterday. I was trying to, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting place where that answer came from.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get to who came up with that answer, and then will reflect it back to you of who. And it's not just who and we name it. It's who, what level it's operating at. This is where it's most likely stemming from. This is how it manifests itself. Here's some trigger points. Here's a protocol integration, right? And then we're gonna take that map, and we'll 99.999% of the time, I have a 15-minute consultation after that, and the person goes, it's like you read my mind. How the hell did you know all that off of these 20 questions that seem like, what'd you want? Why do you like Burger King versus McDonald's? Which is not what it's in there, but as an example. And people can't quite figure that out. I'm like, don't worry about the how, worry about the who. So once we start to map it and we integrate it, then it becomes a choice of where is it you want to integrate to? Who is it now? Who do you want to become? And not just as a singular who, this entity, this experience, this encompassing thing that we call life, human. Sometimes we'll just do a 30-day map with you. We'll map you weekly. We'll show you all your project metrics, because I'm a big guy on our relationship has to have an end point.
Okay.
You don't need me for the next 6 years as a therapist or as a coach.
Right.
Yeah, you can touch point, but that's when you're shifting an identity. Hey, coach, guess what? I think I'm going to go back in the ring. I'm going to have this fight, but it's a different fight. This one's for charity. Okay, well, who are we going to go in as? Okay, we're going to map that. Okay, hey, you know what? My business has got to this. I'm now looking to exit. Okay, what happens when we exit? We're going to map the exit and who you're going to become. So you are stabilized, and I don't mean like as in fake it till you make it, but you're regulated and you don't trip. So you go 30-day. Maximum you can work on the initial row is 90 days. In 90 days, if we can't map and integrate with you, either I'm not ready, you're not ready, I'm not the right doctor, or both. And either way, we're done. I'm not going to take your money or my time or yours. So far, that's not happened. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. And yes, it has to have that endpoint. It doesn't mean we'll never talk again. It just means you got it. My job as a map maker is to show you the map, teach you how that map works, integrate. If you want to become a map maker, then we say, okay, fill out the application. Let's see where you're at. Let's find out when we align and you get all of you get out of your own way in simplest of languages. You go in your own way, the aligned you will show up. It's always there. You don't have to work on it. You don't have to, I'm an enlightened being. I'm like, you're always an enlightened being. You just
But sometimes that aligned being has just been hidden away for so long.
Absolutely.
And you know, like some people, they just see it emerge.
Yeah,
Like
well, it's always there. I mean,
Right.
people say, well, I just want to focus on the positive. I hate to break it to you, kids. You are light and dark if you wanted it, but that's a binary model. That's the model we've been operating on for the last 6,000 years. Left, right, short, tall, black, white, light, dark. They both exist simultaneously. So now we're looking at an integrated system that says, yes, your shadow's there, and so is your regulation, and so is your highest self, all operating simultaneously. What if we got them working together? Well, you haven't had that except for in those moments where everything aligned, the zone.
Yeah.
We have all these names for it.
Right,
we call it alignment because that's what it really is. Well, now I know how to align that. Well, how can I align this part of me and this part of my life? And we show you how to map it. But if I'm going to take you as a practitioner, you're going to get an application. We'll walk you through it. If you're accepted, and if not, we'll show you where we're going to have you integrate, and then we'll get you accepted. In that process, what you want to do with the practitioner level will manifest itself. Some people want to work with vets. Okay, probably militaries involved in their world somewhere, or they want to work first responders. They want to work in performance. They want to work in corporate sales, culturalist training, HR. They want to work in our AI division, or they want to work in, hey, I just want to work on myself. I just want to go through this so I know how to manage me. I want to architect the life I want with conscious competence coherence, and I'm aware of it, and I want to stop hurting. I'm tired of going to therapy and doing the same crap, and I don't feel any better. If I hear one more person come to me and I can relate to it and it bothers me. I watched my mother go through therapy many, many years ago for 6 years, and the therapist retired. First of all, 6 years, that's codependency 101, man.
Yeah.
I was furious at this. But I can't tell my mom what to do. She's her own sovereign being. But when the therapist retired and just kind of left her hanging, wow, that's like a divorce, man.
Yeah.
I mean, God dang, I've had relationships that didn't last that long.
Right.
And so, wow, that's really unfair to people. But I hear this, I heard it this weekend at the event. Many people come up and said, hey, why is it I go to therapy and I talk, I'm exhausted when I come out. I feel worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, because you're re-traumatizing yourself. And the therapist doesn't have ill intent, hopefully doesn't have ill intent or some Machiavellian intentions. They're doing what they're trained to do from an old model. That model's ancient, it's over. It's time for us to move that identity as a multifaceted being. Whatever faith, whatever religion you subscribe to, the theory of one, I don't care. Whatever that is for you, if that's a belief system, how could you ever say that you're the single flat me-I? You're like a diamond.
Right.
You have all of these facets to you. But what we've been doing is we've been saying, well, we're only going to shine light on this part of the diamond, champ. This other part we're not going to talk about. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do me a favor. Chop off your arm and tell me you got 2 arms. That's how we approach it. And we wonder why people get twisted out. They feel frustrated. I'm not good enough. I'm just not one of the lucky ones. I don't have the talent. You do. As you go through this, the first thing that happens is as you integrate the real you I know, and I say real meaning the depth of you shows up, and that moment shows up over and over, and they start to see it. And people go, "Oh, I'm in a conversation that normally would have gone this way, and I saw the identity structure in there, and I saw it myself, and I caught it, and I regulated my system, and then I moved into this persona, and all of a sudden now, what used to be conflict is now compromise or cohesion, and from that, your natural self will reveal, and then from there, we say, okay, we'll work with you. So our practitioners licensed, they work with us, we help them, we train them, we teach you how to do it. We'll come out and do it with you.
Right.
And once you're to a certain point, we sign off on you, and it's like, hey, you're licensed to use the IP. Bye. Wow. And you go off and do you. You have to come back once a year because we're going to continue to evolve. The system is beyond deep. It continues to evolve like a moving map. And what makes me excited is I continue to do more and more R&D in different places, like you saw this weekend event, working with traders. Yeah. Traders, I love working with Forex and stocks and crypto, and people are like, why? I'm like, because trading doesn't make you. It reveals you. It reveals you like the worst mirror, like mirror on the wall.
That's interesting because I've been saying that quote a lot.
It's true.
Like it really, because the example that I take is, you almost have to be reckless to go into an MMA fight because you can't really think about the risks, because or otherwise no sane man would really step into a cage and fight. So in trading, when you bring over that behavior, that can destroy you. Right. Because you start almost, are you trading, are you gambling? Like which one are you doing? And then when
it's hopeless strategy.
And hopeless start, and then you try to go back in there to revenge, like revenge losses, and it's just a spiral, right? So,
and then you blow up the account, and then the trauma really starts.
Right. Yeah.
This thing goes on fire.
Right.
You suck. I can't believe you did that. You put the family at risk. You're never going to get this. I've heard more, even in sports performance, and I've been in that a long time like you. I've worked with a lot of amazing athletes across a lot of different disciplines. In trading, my God, if anybody talked to you the way you talk to yourself after a trade, you'd have zero people in your life. Yeah. You would be a hermit. Yeah. You would not engage. Yeah. It is unbelievable. Yeah. I sit in awe. I go, I'm pretty tough on myself. I get it. But in trading, even the smallest, most petite, quiet woman just turns into this tyrant. I'm like, whoa. Look at that, who just showed up? And that tyrant just showed up, and let's talk about that tyrant. That thing is an absolute trauma. And the re-traumatization, the revenge trading, I gotta make up for it. Okay, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna do that. And it's like you start to force. Well, then as soon as you go into that force, everything into that moment where everything worked, you just completely destroyed it.
Right.
And now we're gonna compound that. And next thing you know, people, they punch out and they say, hey, I'm never gonna be good at this trading thing. Doesn't matter how good my educators are, my mentors are, it doesn't matter. I'm just not that person. They trip out and they go try to find something else, or they never do, and they don't put themselves in the freedom model. And that's the travesty of it. So for me, I got really excited about it when a dear friend called me and said, hey, Doc, I need you to come help map this. And I said, I'm not a trader, you know that, right? He goes, yeah. And I said, great. As long as you teach the trading so I can see it and I can map it, we're great. So I just spent the last 3 days with this convention of traders and mapping with them. And the number one thing I heard was that comment. I just suck at it.
Was this your first time working around traders?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm mapping it in real time. And so I'm mapping, I'm talking with them, and I'll do the same thing we just talked about. I'm mapping them in real time, and they'll come back and they'll go, how do you know all that? That finally explains why I've been doing that. I'm like, great. Now you're aware of it. You understand and accept it. Now we have an action protocol step to integrate it. So now that persona that's seeking to protect you, now we can realign it, and now you get integrated. Now your nervous system doesn't go into that trauma mode of, I love when people grit their teeth and they're getting ready to hit the button. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. I'm like, watch that. And this is gonna be a really cool experience for this company. And we're doing it with this company exclusively because of my relationship with one of their top educators. And I've worked with him, and he's actually one of my students. Right. So he came to me and said, Doc, my trading has changed over the last 4 months. And I said, great. But I was working with him as an individual. Right. He started applying it to the trading. He goes, but I'm not you, would you come do it? Yeah, man, that's exciting. That's like, awesome. Give me the hit. I'm in, let's go, man. I wanna work with trade. I wanna expand it because when I did my opening speech with them, and I was honored to be one of the keynotes when I was the opener, I said, I need you guys to be successful. I need all of you. Not because I want you all to have Rolls Royces and cars and all this other stuff. I did that too, and that's wonderful. You need to experience it, they need to do it, but you'll somewhere realize that that's not going to show up at your funeral, whenever that is.
Right.
Cool. But I need you guys successful because in today's world, poverty shouldn't exist. Everybody can learn to trade, as an example, if they want to. But even if they don't, your success champ outside of the ring now, as a trader and as a businessman, you're going to go start applying that somewhere philanthropically. It's inevitable, especially if we're doing integrational mapping, because you'll start to feel the alignment of, this is bigger than myself. I'm not just this singular being having this experience isolated on this planet all by myself. I'm like, that's not even remotely close to possible, but it sounds cool on paper. So now we have this systemic wave of, oh, well, you're just working with traders. No, I'm working with human beings who are applying trading. They're creating success models. That opens up other parts of their identity now. Now they're willing to look at it because now they have options. They've integrated their safety. And now we have this ripple effect.
Right.
And I got lit. And I was over in Europe, and he said, hey man, can you be here? I said, hell yeah, I'm not missing this. It was a 26-hour travel day. Literally came right out the plane. Looked like I just, got run over by the plane. And I said, hey, and he goes, okay, you're on stage right now. And I went, let's go.
Right.
And when you get into that level of passion, when your passion, your purpose, your mission all align,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I stayed up for 3 days. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I said, anybody.
I would see you down here for hours.
Yeah.
Like I would every time I come down here.
Thanks.
And now I wish I had those things.
I got you. I'll make sure he gets taken care of. Well, and I still have more maps to do. And once people start to see it and they go, oh my gosh. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, if you want to make it hard, you can, but we'll identify that persona too. But it isn't. And they realize, oh my God, I can integrate, I can heal, I can move, and I can start to trade. I can make my first $30 trade and feel that success. Great, let's map that. Right. Let's repeat that. Because now if I'm doing $30 a day, okay, well, I'm now making $900 a month. Well, $900 a month in today's economy for the average family, whatever that means, but for economy, that's tsunamic, that's cataclysmic. Man, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Why? Because I get to help people live the life they want. I help them map the person they default to that keeps interrupting their performance. They finally get to map it, get out of their own way. They may not show up to my funeral, but damn it, they're going to remember it.
100%.
That's a soul legacy for me. And I will spend the rest of my days finishing, and if I may, I'm going to put it out there in the universe, God willing. We've never given a Nobel Peace Prize to psychology.
Oh, really?
Ever. Freud was nominated multiple times, never got it. Jung was nominated multiple, never got it. I want our system on a global level to be taught at universities, high schools. I want it taught in businesses and corporations, because now we're moving from a true identity system. Now we get into a different cohesion and go win the Nobel, not because I want the Nobel to go, ooh, I won it, but one, because we break that model too. And if we do that, that means we truly have evolved as a species. Then from there, your generation, I say that with respect because I'm slightly older than you. I don't like that. There's definitely two personas that do not like that comment, but I'm aware of it and I've accepted
well, all the students I met this week, they were much younger than me.
Oh, I know, right?
And then so it's like I'm right in that middle place.
All right.
Yeah.
I have half the students where, I have two kids older than them. I'm like, but this is the part of the system. It doesn't care about age. It doesn't care about gender. It doesn't care about culture. It is a system of humanity. And so that's why it's mind personas, human identity operating system, human identity. It's a full operating system. Right. We have operating systems for everything else, and now we have it for humanity. Now, our job, my job, hopefully your job, all of us as traders in this industry, sports performance athletes, is to adopt this, apply it, see the results, and go. And work with the next person. Now we're going to change humanity, and even down to negotiations. Negotiations don't have to be win-lose. That model's binary. If I have to win and you have to lose, somewhere down the road, that's going to show up in your personic. It may not be with me, but it's going to show up in your family. It's going to show up with your kids. It's going to show up in the next business deal that you do. One of the things that I would offer, we didn't talk about it, but I just want to throw that out there to everybody listening. One of the number one traumas out there isn't necessarily the traumas that we would categorize as traumas. The number one trauma that we're seeing most is business trauma.
Okay.
People get excuse my language, in business, because we have personas that think about how can I destroy you to get me? I have to win in order for you to lose.
Right.
Well, that model has always been a conquering model. Okay, great. We all live on the same planet. I hate to break it to you. We're the only ones in the neighborhood, man. Unless Elon Musk discovers Martians on Venus or some crap that I'm not aware of, we're it.
Right.
So you don't see anywhere in nature do you see the species that's within itself screwing itself over. We are the only species that will Machiavellian screw ourselves over in the name of a dollar, which, by the way, is a piece of paper.
Right.
Right? I'm not, yes, it's amazing to have money than not have money, but let's be honest.
Right.
But, you know, when we see this, we go, oh, okay, we're the only ones out there. So it would be really cool if we can all come from an identity, and when we own, and particularly talk about authenticity, in business, now all of a sudden, I know, hey, this is where your optimal state identity architecture of alignment comes together. You know it, I know it, it's mapped. It's right out there. I don't have to go, hey, champ, I need you to be authentic, bro. I need you to be real with me, man.
Right.
What the hell does that mean?
Right.
What the hell does that mean? Man, that sounds real. Some good shit, man. I'm like, what are you talking about? Be real. I am being real as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But I may not be aware of that persona underneath that's running the show. So this gives us full authenticity naturally. Man, you know what? I just realized, you know, I went into shadow for a second. I can tell you what the shadow is. This is the level that happened. Champ, I need 5 minutes. I need to step off set. I'm going to regulate. This is on me, man. And now all of a sudden you go, shit, man, I know I've done that too. And now all of a sudden we're connecting, but we're not judging each other.
You're taking accountability too.
Totally. But now it's automatic. I don't have to go, bro, I need to hold you accountable. I got to call you out on this shit.
Yeah.
Well, A, if I trigger you, I might just get the shit beat out of me, right? I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm old as dirt. I mean, I'm not even a warm-up round for you. You're like, go away, kid. I'm like, kid, who you calling kid? And I say that with respect, and it's going, hey, if you can communicate at that level, now it makes you fearless to communicate. And public speaking is still one of our number one fears.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're not integrated. When I watch people talk now that never talked. I'm like, yeah, but it's always been there. We just had to get the personas out of the way that were seeking to protect your nervous system. And it's amazing. I oscillate between extreme bliss and joy, as you've seen right here in this show, to absolutely crying my eyes out watching people heal and going, wow. And for me, it's been the journey of a lifetime, and it's still going. But just to get to here, and I call that chapter 1. Right. How did we actually complete the system? How did we do it? How was it done? And we're getting ready to publish the first book so everybody can read it. Go, this is how we did it. This is how we mapped it. This is what a trauma protocol is. This is what the systems are. This is how the personas work, what level they're at. So everybody can see it. And then they go experience it.
Right.
That's it. That's the mission I'm on, man.
It's amazing. Do you think there's certain traumas and identities that you get to a point and you got to let go? So like, I was kind of thinking about, I would have never been an MMA fighter and maybe you'll kind of argue this, or why did I put this identity? So I was...
See the 3 identities that just happened right there.
Yeah. So like, being bullied in school, always being the shortest kid, always being in the back with no boys, always being a follower. I lost family members to suicide, or I lost them to other things. So I was always disconnected from relationships because I felt like if I got close to you, I would lose you eventually anyways.
Abandonment 101, right?
And then I always had a stutter all through school.
Wow.
So I always had a speech impediment. So then when I discovered MMA, it was like, I can finally have eyes on me. I'll finally be some sort of center of attention.
Right. I'm the star now. I'm the cool kid.
I'm the star.
Sure.
The world will look at me. I'll get into shape. So I was like a short, kind of chubby kid. I'll get into shape. The world will love me.
Right.
I'll become a public speaker. Like, I'll speak publicly because of the stutter and stuff like that. And I'll go over that fear. But I'm kind of at this point where I'm into this family life now. Right. So now, is there points where people have to let go of those identities so they can move on to the next identity? Like, me being in my family now, because there's certain traumas that I gained as I was going through all that stuff.
Bet.
I was always disconnected emotionally because I felt like I had to be. I was always kind of all about me because I felt like nobody else was coming to save me.
Right.
So I had to always save myself.
Especially in the ring.
Especially in the ring. So that was always a thing. Like, my wife used to always be like, why do we not come to your fights? I'm like, you don't go in the cage with me, and I don't want anybody there that if you can't help me, I don't want them
It's
there.
a distraction.
It's a distraction.
It's a horrible thing to say to your wife, but it's,
No, I know.
it's true.
Yeah.
Golfers
yeah.
do the same thing.
Yep.
NBA, they,
Yep.
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
So like I used to always say, you don't take your family to war, you take your soldiers. Right? So I used to always say that. So I used to always run on that model all the time when
Sure.
she'd be like, hey, like, are we going to come to one of your fights? I'm like, no, you guys are going to watch it from here. I can't have you guys there.
Right, watch on TV.
Yeah, because I was always like, I have to save myself. I got to protect myself. And
Right.
that's always been me in life. But now I have my son. I don't want to pass on any of that. I want to be a more open family man. So I got to open up my communication channels more, which I have a huge problem with. I always say, like, you confronting me, I'm confronting you. We got to figure out what's going on in me, but I don't even know what's, because I disconnect. I even had situations where, and I was noticing that I compartmentalize pain a lot, and I completely forget about it. There was one of my neighbors when I was 19, he committed suicide, and I found him in the garage. And I remember forgetting about it the next day. I went clubbing that night.
Wow.
I literally had people, I didn't change my plans. I found this guy around 7, the cops came. I had to tell his son that his dad had committed suicide.
Wow.
And then I was at the club at 3 a.m. and I woke up the next morning. I'm like, that was all within the last 12 hours.
Right.
And I noticed I was doing these things. I was compartmentalizing pain and forgetting about it wherever it was. One of my best friends here, one of my best teammates here, I had to pull his life support here.
Wow.
And so then he was kind of like the party animal and everything. And I started going to the club a lot, trying to keep his like spirit alive, then drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a point where I got to be a better father. I got to be, and that
Who
takes
has to be a better father?
me, Gurdarshan. So
Me is a pronoun. We're back to that
exactly.
again, right?
So I have to show up in a different way, I feel like, in order for any of these relationships to be good, like my marriage to be happy, because I got to be more communicative, and for my son to be happy, my son not to fall into the same paths or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's like, do people have to let go of certain identities to step into the new ones then?
Cool. Great stuff. A lot of if we play that tape back, I would literally map that with you because I was counting them.
Okay.
And by the time I was done, I had counted 7 different identities talking.
Wow.
And if you notice, and I say this with the utmost respect, respectfully to your speech impediment, you notice when you first started to say suicide, you couldn't get the word out.
Right.
There's still pain there.
Yeah.
And you're very good at masking it. You're a fighter. You can't show weakness, bro.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole psychology of fighting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to Miyamoto Musashi, right? That the fight is won before it's ever started.
Yeah.
Right. So look at that. And then you talk about, I have to be. So now I've got this persona that's striving, that's pushing. You have to do. You do this, you're going to suck. You're going to fail as a father. You're going to screw your kid up. Now I've got all this other pressure, right? That's self-imposed.
Yeah.
Because it always is. It's not letting go. So I would ask you this: how do you let go?
I do it like,
It's one of the biggest hypnotic things we've done to humanity in history. How do you let go?
yeah.
People go, well, you just let go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want you to let go that you found the gentleman under suicide. I want you to let go that, hey, you were worried that, I don't care about my kid. Don't worry about it. He just suck it up and deal with it. Let it go. Do it right here. I mean,
Yeah.
you're aware of it.
Right.
So, and I don't mean that disrespectfully or challengistically or even confrontational. I'm like, I want your audience to notice that, and I thank you for your vulnerability about it, because that's exactly what we're talking about. It's not a letting go. Letting go will frustrate you so much, it will make you feel like you're the biggest idiot and moron on the planet, and you will abuse yourself, no matter what your level of education on, because letting go is asking you to let go of an experience that happened in your life, your journey. That's impossible. That's like, so we just got to forget it.
Correct.
How? I mean, I'm a master hypnotist. I can't make you forget. Man, I can knock bodies out. I've done it for years. I can't make you. That's where I got really frustrated, because I'm like, well, people go, well, you just got to let go of the last shot.
Right.
I just hit it. What are you talking about? Jack Nicklaus used to say, you just got to, visualize the shot that you want. I visualize the shit out of shots and then even come close to what I visualized.
Right.
So where's that disconnect coming from? It's integration. Dr. Carl Jung said it best: the greatest of honors in this life is to become whole again. It's not that you need to let go of it. It's now we get to take those traumas, we're going to map them, we're going to see where they are, we're going to understand what they're doing, how they're trying to protect you, we're going to find the belief structure they're operating on, and we're going to reprogram, literally reprogram that persona, because you can't get rid of the persona. It's a part of you, man. You want that persona there. You want me on that wall. Yeah, that's a terrible Jack Nicholson imitation. But everyone knows that line, right?
Yeah.
Terrible imitation. Thank you for letting me be a complete dork. But you want that part of you integrated because that part of you has a purpose. And right now its purpose is protecting you. Yes, it feels like it's inhibiting you, feels like you're not transforming into this man that you want to become. You're right, it is, because it's saying, hey, if you transform without healing this, without integrating this, it's gonna show up in your kid. Right. It's gonna show up in your relationship. I'm gonna stop you. You're gonna go, man, I can't get out of my own way. I'm like, precisely. That's the acceptance phase. It's there to protect you. Well, you can call it God, you can call it the theory of one, you can call it the metaphysics, you can call it Allah, you can call it Christ, you can call it, I don't care what you call it, but that part of us that is gonna go beyond this mortal coil. Whatever you choose, I'm not here to tell you what to choose. I'm not nearly educated enough, nor would I even seek to if I was. But we all can agree that we have some sort of faith in the afterlife. That means there's a part of you that's gonna go on beyond this mortal coil. So it's in there always. What if we operated from that place? Well, in order to get to that place, we've had all these personas that are preventing us to do that. Now, am I saying everything's going to be perfect? No, I don't even know what perfect is, man. I tried perfectionism, and I was a golfer.
Right.
Talk about masochism.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? Talk about negative feedback all the time. Oh, man. So it's just absolute insanity. And so it's not letting go. It's literally integrating it. Once we integrate it, it integrates itself. Now the persona repurposes, says, okay, we've changed this belief structure. I have a new operating system of what my protection mechanism. Now my protection takes all of that experience, it integrates it. Now you're not haunted by it. You're not running around with that thought in your head or those feelings and that tension and I gotta get it right and staring at the ceiling fan at 3 in the morning going, please don't let me screw up my child. And every parent feels that. I don't care if you're the worst parent, you feel it. Right. I'm a 5-time parent and I still feel it. But I know who feels it. Yeah. And I can see where it's coming from. Once you integrate it, now we're gonna reassign it. Once we reassign it, now the pathway is clear. Now I'm not operating from a non-regulated state. I'm operating from a regulated state. Now I'm gonna guide my son, but I'm gonna guide him from a regulated state. And he, at his young age, who doesn't have the language skills that you do yet, just because he's young, will intuitively, instinctually, at a subconscious and even deeper nervous system, feel you. Because some languages don't need words, right. And that's one of them. Now all of a sudden, he'll see your behavior shift and his behavior shift. You don't have to say anything, and it becomes effortless. You know, and I know that people go, "Oh, it can't be that easy." And I'm like, "Who said it can't be that easy? Let's find out." Because that's the persona that's keeping you from it. I'm not saying everything is going to be hunky-dory, but you can map it. Now I have the security, I have the safety, I have that quiet sense of certainty that I can map it.
Right.
I'm not lost, because before we had GPS and devices and all the things, and that was my era, by the way, we had this thing called a map. Yeah. And if you didn't have a map, you had to pull over to a gas station if you finally want to buy a map, or you had to ask directions. Right. Those days are gone. But imagine if we didn't have maps. How did the world operate when we didn't have maps? Well, we wandered around and hoped to God we didn't get eaten by tigers, right. Or walk into somebody's tribal ceremony and they kill you with spears. So now that feeling that we feel all the time, man, if I could just get out of my own way, if I could just get this shit together, I know there's more in there. Yes, there is, but it's because those personas like yours in that particular what we're talking about is holding the frame because it's protecting you from here. Because your other personas are going, this is really important to me now. I want my son to not be this. I don't want him to experience my trauma. Right. And we try to protect our kids, but we actually create more trauma in that model. But if I integrate that and I reassign it, now I'm walking in alignment. This persona has been reassigned. The persona that says, this is what I want for my son, now they come together and they merge. Now you're a little more whole than you were the last day or the last minute of the last hour. And now, it's my fantasy, and I've seen this happen literally with every person, every team we work with, they go, can I apply this to that? I'm like, damn right you can. Right. Question is, are you willing? And if not, we can map that too. So now this feeling of lost that I felt for almost my entire life of, how the hell do you do this? Right. Please, somebody just give me the 1, 2, 3, man. Yeah. I have the discipline, the commitment, I'll do it. Yeah. But I need to know what, who, and how to do it. If I don't know who is there, the how and the what become irrelevant. It's just mental masturbation, mindset nonsense, YouTube stuff of just blah. No disrespect to all of our content creators out there, including the one I'm on the thing with. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop giving this nonsense to make people feel better for the moment. Integrate them so they can align for a lifetime.
Right.
And they can do it over and over, and that repeats itself. Now all of a sudden, you'll become relentlessly curious. You will. And I'll be sitting in the background going, that's cool, go.
Yeah.
I want you to do it. I want you to take it to places I will never be an MMA champion fighter. I'll never be an MMA fighter in this life. One, I don't have any interest in it.
Right.
Two, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, I love coaching it. I don't want to be in that ring. That shit hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot. I've been punched. I don't like that crap. I'm not in. I have big personas that go, that's going to hurt. Let's go this direct. Apologize, my fault. I'm the idiot. So, and I mock it from a fun point of view, but I also have a mocker, persona that mocks it as a way to remind myself of, when you think you're all that in a bag of chips, just, there's someone that knows how to fight, who's done it.
Yeah.
I go, great. I know how to map. I've done it. Do you? This is my mastership. That's all I'm good at. Everything else I'm dumb as a brick, but I'm relentlessly curious. I know how to map it. Once I know how to map it, I can go learn it if I choose to. But now I'm choosing. I'm not reacting. I'm not seeking to become something, image of myself, imposter syndrome. I'm not into that. I'm choosing to live the life I want to live because, and I will, subject to however you want to continue this interview or not, let's get to the truth. And people don't like to talk about it. I don't either, but we have to. Life is owned by death. It's period. End of discussion, hard stop.
Right.
Life is owned by death. Death is inevitable, and you're not promised when that's going to occur. Stop waiting. Live your ass off. We live on this beautiful thing called planet Earth. It is the biggest theme park in the known universe. And believe me, we don't know shit about the universe. We are a gnat's ass on what's really going on.
Yeah.
Live your ass off. Please map it, explore yourself. To explore yourself is the ultimate journey.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like, to explore within is how you're going to get to explore the whole world, because I think most people get stuck in a hamster wheel of just, like you're saying, right? You're running the same code, you're running the same program.
Yep.
Like, I'm trying to think of some of the day traders that were here, and I'm sure it's certain similar experiences from financially being strained, thinking that day trading is going to work out, then blowing accounts on that, and you're just going deeper and deeper, and
Down into the shadows.
and like, you might have a family, you have people that are waiting on food that's being in order. And I've been in those situations where it's like, why is this not working out? Like, why am I so self-destructive? Like, why is this not working out? I'm putting in the work, I'm doing doing all the work, doing what's needed, showing up, and
It's still not getting there.
And still not getting there.
I'm right back to where I started. Only now I've got all these why questions, and I feel more lost than when I started.
Exactly.
And then I'll add guilt to it.
Yeah.
God,
It's just a vicious cycle.
I tried MLM. I tried affiliate marketing. Now I tried trading. And I suck at all of them. Now I got a guilt. Now I'm going to shame myself. I'm just not one of those people. I'm going to live a crappy life. And I'm like, yeah, now I'm cyclically sliding down the trauma scale, and I'm adding shadow personas that are trying to protect me along the way to stop.
Yeah.
But I keep overriding it, and I add another one, and another one, and another one. And then you find out that the one that's been adding it is the one back here that goes, so I want to talk about this trauma at the core level, because that's what I've been trying to get you to. I've been manifesting it through your business, but you're not paying attention because you're not aware of it. You're so focused on, I got to get the Bentley, and I got to get the Rolls, and I got to be like, I got to show up and be bling bling. I'm like, that's image. That is an image architecture. And we've been in image architecture since what? Call it 1998, when we started moving down this road of social media.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I love the term social media. There's nothing media about it. That's such a misnomer.
Nothing really social too much.
There's nothing social. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not good like that. I'm not cool like that. I can't fight like that. I mean, I'm not good looking like that. I'm like, there's nothing social about it. It's antisocial.
Right.
And we're seeing these results now, unfortunately. But again, that's a case study over 20 plus years. Yeah. And now you're seeing countries that are starting to limit. And thank God that someone has the guts to stand up and go, listen, man, you've got trillions of dollars. You've made your world. How much money do you fucking need? Knock it off, man. Because guess what? Steve Gates died. Billionaire. We all die broken dead. Man, give it back. It wasn't yours anyways. We're all just borrowing shit.
Right.
It all stays here on planet Earth. And I'm not saying you should go out and drain your bank account. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying lock onto that something that's bigger than you, but you're not going to be able to lock on until you understand who inside of you is afraid to lock on. Because, you know, I went through a full identity collapse. That was the final straw in this whole system for me. It was horrific. For those of my Christian friends out there, it's Job chapters 1 through 41. It was the full stripping, everything, cars, houses, businesses, bankruptcy, all of it down to $100, lost all my friends. Everybody was like, oh man, you know, Travis is crashing and burning. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
How old were you when this happened?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. Wow.
2 years ago. And it happened all of 2025 was a nightmare.
Wow.
Absolute nightmare. But if I hadn't gone through that, I wasn't able to complete the last part of the shadow protocol. Because the shadow protocol, there is a part in your life that will come, God willing, you'll choose to go do it and intercede before it happens, where you're going to stop being in the image world. Man, I've been in the image world my whole life.
Right.
Long before we had social media. Right? You're going to come to a place where the image that you built as the fighter, it has to integrate and evolve through. Otherwise, it will haunt you. It will. That's why we see drinking and drugs and fighting and all this other nonsense that we go with. And it's not that they're doing anything wrong. They're just so much pain.
Correct.
So when you go through that process, you start to really, when I went, you know, it's not dark night of the soul, it was dark year of the soul. Right. You know, just like Dr. Carl Jung. And oftentimes my wife will joke and she goes, you sure you're not Dr. Jung reincarnated? I'm like, God, I hope not. Because he went through this multi-year journey where he just lost it. Yeah. And when he came out the other side, that's where the shadows were created, and he realized you can't reflect what you don't know. Right. I had been through shadows, and I had trauma. I've had sexual trauma, I've had physical trauma, I've had emotional trauma, but I hadn't had identity trauma. I hadn't had it. And if I hadn't had identity trauma, I couldn't sit here today and say, hey man, I was molested. Hey man, guess what? I've lost everything. Hey man, I was living a split identity most of my life. Hey man, I was full of shit because I was afraid someone would find out. I didn't have all the answers. I'm supposed to be Dr. Fox and polished, and I've got all these awards that say I'm supposed to have them. I don't know a freaking clue what's going on. I was afraid of all that, and I had a deep, dark, way down persona, and it's in the system, by the way. I had never met that persona. I'd never seen it. And I was like, wow. When it showed up, I dove into it, hardcore. And in that process, I lost one of my dear friends. I lost one of my animals that was dear to me. It was almost an ESA, for lack of definition, an emotional support animal. And I had to watch him die right in front of me. In the midst of all this is going on. So I'm like, God, you've taken everything, my money, my bank account, my friends, my name, everything I built, my reputation, and you have shredded it. And now you're taking him too? The identity finally collapsed. And when that moment happened, that's when I finally saw the last part. And I went, that's why you're God. Wow, I get it now. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for taking me through this journey. I choose not to experience it again, but thank you for taking me there. Thank you for showing to me, because if you hadn't, this would have been haunting me. Even teaching the system at that moment, it was incomplete. And so I don't share that lightly. I don't make it a joke of it. I'm not trying to be endearing to your audience. I'm like, hey man, I'm just as fucked up as you are. I just have a system now that I know how to map it. Right. And I want you to map it too. And I want all of you to map it. And I want all of you to map it. Because now if you have a map, whenever you go on a journey, a vacation, you have a GPS and it's a map. Right. So you know where you're going, you know where you are. It gives you that quiet sense of certainty. That quiet sense of certainty is what I finally arrived at. For my Christian friends, it's that peace that goes beyond understanding. For our Buddhist friends, it's to coming to that place of awareness of enlightenment, that there's a part of you that's bigger than this humanity. For all of my other friends out there, whatever religious theology that you subscribe to, you get to that peace where you go, okay, I went and lost everything. Lawsuits, you name it, people that you're this, name calling. And I've had a lot of crap called to me, you know, when I'm on stage, because when I was doing stage hypnosis shows, we didn't have the internet, so people were like, oh, you're doing the devil's work. I'm like, wow, are we the Inquisition here? Yeah. But, you know, that's where they were at, God bless them. But going through that, and my family going through that, and the isolationism that you go through, people are afraid when you go through an identity stripping to be around you, because they're afraid they're going to catch it like it's a disease, like it's a blessing. Right. it doesn't have to be that way. I chose that way. God chose that for me so that I could understand what people do and go through a trauma. I didn't see that at the time, and I got really pissed at God during. There was a couple of days there where I was like, and I this is the first time I've said this publicly, but it's necessary, and that's part of God's mission in my life. Now He's like, Fox, I put you here. You're going to do this. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm not going through that again. Yes, sir. I contemplated suicide. There was times where I was isolated and I had the gun in my hand. And so now I intimately, I've never been downrange. Right. I've never had that honor that our men and women who have defended our countries or defending other countries to go to that space. But I know what it feels like to put a gun in your mouth and go, I'm in so much pain. I don't know how to end it. And now being able to go through that and be able to work through the map and the identity changed my life. It changed my life, man. And that's how I'm sitting here talking to you. And thank you for giving me the invitation and the vehicle to share this. I have to tell you, I have a persona in my head right now that's going, are you out of your fucking mind? Shut up, Fox. You are fucking up your image, bro. And I'm like, you're damn right I am, because I don't want to be in the image industry anymore. I don't want to be in the image. I have my whole life been running from being a closet healer, because my father programmed me when I was young. And the system is part of what showed me in that dark night. Yeah. That's when I finally came to this part. And it was back when I was 13. And it was just a comment that you would think, that's just an innocuous comment. What the hell is that about?
Yeah.
My dad said, because I'd had this instinct when I was young that I wanted to be in the healing arts, but I didn't want to be this, I'm a healer, I'm a guru, I've shaved, I didn't want to be that because it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why can't you just live a lifestyle that you want to live and still help people heal without fleecing them and having to live on the side of a mountain and shave my head? Right. And my dad said, so you want to be a healer, kid? I said, well, yeah, Dad, I kind of dig it. It feels good to watch people feel that way. I like that feeling. He goes, yeah, well, you better be prepared to be broke. You're never going to have sex again, and you're going to shave your head, and you're going to have an orange robe and live on the side of the mountain. Now, do you say that to a 13-year-old boy who was already having sex a lot, and I've already said it, that terrified me. My nervous system went into level 5 full-on trauma, and I had been running from that moment for 30 years. And until I read to that moment where God said, enough, stop running. And I went, no, I got to keep running. He goes, okay, then I'm going to take it all away from you. And I've been blessed. I've had the cars, I've had the things, I've had success, I've had failures, but I never had the truth of me. And if nothing else in this life, at least I have that truth now. And I want everybody to have their own truth, because when they say the truth will set you free, down there. And the truth is found in the dark. It's not found in the light, right? Yeah. That's where we hide. So this system now gives us that opportunity. And thanks for letting me share it, champ. I know. I have to tell you, man, I can tell you right now, watching my own self, I'm like, oh, I can see it. That's a level 2 trauma. I can feel my hands going, did you just say that publicly? Did you just put the...
That's amazing that in the moment you get that awareness to a point.
I can feel it. I know I can tell you where it's on my body and where I'm feeling it. Wow. I can see which persona it is because I know the names, obviously.
Yeah. So you think there's certain trauma that, like, obviously in your muscles? Like, I know.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I know when I'm day trading and like it gets really stressful. Yeah. I know where I feel it. I'll start feeling it even in my heart at times now, like the stress a bit, like borderline heart attack at times. I never felt these things in MMA though.
Right.
But there's certain places,
different
my shoulders and my neck, right. The way my posture has changed, But in fighting, I was feeling at completely different places.
You're relaxed. You're
relaxed. Your shoulders locked.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm doing this, right? Yeah. I'm mocking like I know what I'm talking about. Good. I'm mirroring. So for those who think that I'm not, but I know enough of being around champions like you and working with them. Like, I see the move. I can't do the move. Right. But the answer to your question is, yeah, I do. I know there is. It's a trip because if you recall, I said earlier, hey. Everything can be mapped. No, at least in this sequence, everything can be mapped now. And there are traumas. The body knows before the mind is aware. Here's a perfect example for all your listeners. You're walking down a normal street and you just look down this alley and there's nothing there visually, but you get this feeling of do not go down that alley, man. And you get that, oh man. And you can even feel your hands do this. This is that protection. There's your nervous system protecting right here. Right. No different than MMA, but there's nothing there. So your nervous system will pick up on it before you become aware of it, and then it makes you aware of it. So there's this nanosecond where your nervous system, your parasympathetic, sympathetic, your instincts go, there's something there. We can feel it. We go this all the way back to dinosaurs. And this is not new. It's part of our reptilian model, fight or flight sequencing. And so we either choose to go and engage or we walk on. It's the same thing when you're networking. I love doing networking meetings as a keynote. We do a very specific keynote, and everybody networks completely different. But I'll say, hey, I want you to notice something. If you notice you ever shook someone's hand, you're like, man, I know you. We're gonna be best friends for life. From the moment, I'm like, how do you know that? You just met them. Because there's a feeling that your body feels it because you felt that feeling before and you associate with somebody else and you know. But you also shake those hands with certain people, you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe, you know, your Dahmer's cousin, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna back up a step. So our body knows instinctually before our brain's aware of it. What we've forgotten though is we have gotten such into a cerebral society that we believe that our brain in and of itself, our prefrontal cortex, which is new kid on the block, by the way, right? Reptilian's been around forever, is that we're gonna think our way through trauma. Okay, how? Good luck. Right? I mean, you're a champion fighter, you're an accomplished operator, you're a successful man on many layers, and you're intelligent, you're thinking your way through it, it's not working. So clearly that doesn't work. So we gotta remember who we are, not who we think we are. And I say that exactly as I said it, because we get stuck in this who we think we are. Okay, I thought that I was supposed to be the guy on camera that I'm Dr. Fox, I'm polished, I'm an Emmy Award winner, I know how to be on camera, been doing this since I was 9 years old. I'm always gonna hold my frame. Yeah, okay, you know, that's really cool, except for it never connects with anybody, including myself, because I had to put this persona on, right? When you strip it all down and you go, hey, I finally got to the truth, guess what? Man, it is amazing the awareness that has happened where I was talking to our friend that's the promoter for the event here, and he said, man, I'm just flowing, Doc. And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, but it isn't stopping. I said, yeah, it doesn't happen. I said, same thing with me. We've been able to move forward and rebuild at exponential speed, things that even I go, wow, that was super cool. How the hell did that just happen? Who allowed that to happen within me? And now all of a sudden, it becomes a much different experience, and where, you know, like I said, for the first time being able to say it to you publicly, but moreover, anybody listening, I hope they relate. I'm sure they can, and relate to it and go, damn, maybe there's an opportunity. Go talk to Champ. he's gonna get his map right after the show. And
I'm excited about it.
Thanks, man.
So I want to end on this, is that I always ask, if today was your last day, what is the legacy that you want to be remembered, whether it's through the work you put in, the man that you are, the friend that you are? What is the legacy of yourself?
It's a powerful question. That's a great question. The legacy that I seek to leave is that I fulfilled my soul's destiny because I've always known that I was supposed to help humanity evolve into the next generation of human psychology. I've been chasing that my whole life. I've dedicated to it. I've run from it. I've screwed it up. I've had success with it. But I want, for the back nine of my life, now that I'm 55 and made the turn, people to know that I love people, man. I do. I don't need your approval anymore. I don't need you to validate me on stage. I love the compliments, but it's not who I am. Who I am is, I love people, and I want to spend the rest of my time helping them love themselves. And if I can leave that as a legacy through the system, or through a one-on-one relationship, or a one-on-many relationship, my kids, my family, that Travis finally fell in love again. And it started with me. And I read my whole life on it.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you, Doctor. This has been absolutely amazing. This is a powerful conversation that I personally can't wait to listen to again. And follow up and learn more from you. Like, you know, we all cross paths, and
I'd be honored.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich.